I love the word discombobulated. It's a fun word to say. It really kind of expresses the meaning of just being blah, out of, just not put together at all. But do you ever hear anybody saying combobulated as meaning they're all put together? I've never heard that. But today, when we're talking about essential number 8 in the 10 essentials of Tai Chi, we really are going to be talking about putting ourselves together, being totally integrated, talking about the harmony of inner and outer. So this is essential number 8. Internal and external are united. The internal is the leader, and the external, the body, follows its orders. If one is able to raise the spirit of vitality, one will be able to deport oneself lightly and with agility. The form is none other than empty, full, open, closed. What is called open is not only the opening of the hands and feet, the mind and intent also opens with them accordingly. When able to unite inner with outer, then there is complete continuity. So let me put my cheat sheet down. In thinking about uniting inner and outer and complete continuity, that idea is talking about harmony, harmony with your thoughts and your actions, harmony in being completely unified in what you're doing. And I like to think about it as being in the moment, right? The idea of Tai Chi as movement meditation really starts to come together when you think about uniting internal and external, uniting your thoughts with your actions, really integrating yourself into being one, right? And the idea of yourself being discombobulated is not a fun thought, really, when you think about not being united as one person. I just want to give you a short personal story that my degree is in finance and accounting, and I was in the finance world for a long time. And I was good at what I did, but I really never felt like I belonged there. I never felt like I was Dianne in that world. It was like I was expected to be something in that world, and then who I was at home was a different Dianne. I lost my job in 2002 after 9/11, and I decided to remake myself into a personal trainer. I became a personal trainer at that time. I had already been teaching in the martial arts world for several years, teaching classes. I was an instructor in my Taekwondo studio. I was teaching kickboxing, but I decided to make it my vocation to be a personal trainer and to help people be as healthy as they can be. And interestingly enough, in that moment, I mean, it didn't take just a moment, but when you think back of it in time, I became fully integrated. Myself, there was an integrity within myself. I am who I am, who I am. I am who I am at work. I am who I am at home. I am who I am wherever I am. And there's a really good feeling of being integrated and just being whole. So that's the idea of what we want to accomplish with the form, is making it integrated, being in the moment. Being in the moment means thinking about the intent, getting your mind involved in what you're doing. Not only you're applying the principles, thinking about your substantial and insubstantial, your rotation, your columns, but also understanding the intent of what you're doing. Where is your mind leading your body? I'm going to talk a little bit more, but then we're going to practice. In the essential, it talked about the form is nothing more than empty and full, open and closed. When you think about the yin and yang symbol, that it just flows yin into yang, they just flow one into another. There's not they don't start and stop. So that idea of that empty and full, open and closed, complete continuity, that's the idea you want to get into when you're doing your form. It's nothing more than gathering energy and releasing energy throughout the whole form. We roll in circles like the yin and yang symbol. We flow one movement into another. There's a purpose in what we're doing. Our mind is involved in helping the physical, helping upper and lower follow one another, like we talked about last week, but also understanding the intent, being aware of what we're doing. Remember essential number 6, use consciousness, not strength. All of these essentials start to flow into each other to help you get the most out of your Tai Chi. So now we're going to do the form, but kind of in a different way. It's not going to be the inside out form, but we are going to start the form and then we're going to go back to the beginning and we're going to do a little bit more and then we'll go back to the beginning and a little bit more. And the idea as we do it is I want you to be fully present, fully involved in your Tai Chi, staying in the moment, applying the principles, and thinking about the intent of what you're doing so that you can start to integrate that internal awareness with the external form. So think about being suspended from the crown of your head and yet rooted through your feet. Let yourself be stretched into a nice, gentle, open posture. Let your shoulders be dropped, but your elbows be dropped as well. Kind of open up through the back. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathe it out and sink just a little bit. Bringing your weight over to the right, open left, and then center yourself. Preparation. Think about preparing for the form. You're breathing in, pulling that energy up, breathing out. And now you're gathering energy as you breathe in, holding that ball, and part the wild horse's mane. Let your rotation help you open up, thinking about your substantial and insubstantial. Part the wild horse's mane. One more. Part the wild horse's mane. Stepping up, white crane spreads its wings. Think about how empty that left foot is. And there's a reason for that, because now we step brush knee left. Let your Dantian lead this movement. You're not overreaching. Brush knee. Stepping up. Play the guitar. Now I know this will feel like an interruption. We're going to go back to the beginning, but I want you to keep your mind on your Tai Chi. Think about, how can I make that first segment even better now? Start just from preparation. Maybe choose to think about being rooted and grounded now. Think about how stable you are As you're moving through these motions, think about what keeps you stable, allowing the Dantian to lead, fully feeling, separating your substantial and insubstantial. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. Think about your opponent, keeping your eyes on your opponent. Think about blocking something low, hitting something higher. Brush knee. Stepping up, play the guitar. Feel how empty that left foot is again, because now we step back. Sometimes the better strategy is to step away from your opponent. Think about pushing your opponent away, letting the Dantian use that power in your rotation. Taking a nice deep breath in as you gather and ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back. Rotate and press. Pushing chi. Bringing your weight over to the right. Back to the left. See if you can lower your center of gravity just a touch to keep yourself even more stable. Pushing chi. Good. Now come back to the very beginning of the form. Preparation. Let your body feel the relaxation from not trying to muscle through the motions. Using consciousness, not strength. One more, part the wild horse's mane. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. Brush knee. One more brush knee. Stepping up, play the guitar. Repulse the monkey. Holding that ball and ward off. Let the Dantian lead. Let your arms just follow. Rotate and press. Pushing chi, breathing in and breathing out. Bringing your weight over to the right, back to the left, stepping out, ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back. Rotate and press. Pushing chi. Coming into your single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Focus now on your substantial and insubstantial changes. Bringing your dantian over your base of support, allowing the other leg to become completely empty. Forming a bird's beak and single whip. High pat on horse. Kick, smash, and box the ears. Try to be as stable as possible. Lowering that center of gravity, moving from the dantian to box the ears. Now let's go back to the beginning. Keep yourself within your Tai Chi. Keep yourself thinking about, what am I doing? Preparation. And now focus on your breath. Imagine that breath going all the way through your body because it's open and loose. You're completely relaxed in your movement. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. Breathing in as you gather. Breathing out as you release that energy into your opponent. One more brush knee. Play the guitar. Focus on being as stable as possible as you turn, using your dantian to lead that rotation, as you step away from your opponent. Breathing in, then breathing out as you ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Breathe in as you yield. Breathe out as you use your Ji energy. Breathing in at the first part of the An, the pushing Qi. Breathing out. Ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back. Rotate and press. Pushing Qi. Bringing your weight over to the left. Bring it back to the right, forming a bird's beak and single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Try breathing in and then breathing out as you rotate the other direction. As your weight comes to the right, form a bird's beak, step out into your single whip. Think about, as you do high pat on horse, sometimes the better strategy is to come into your opponent. Kick, smash, and box the ears. Turning. Thinking about your substantial and insubstantial. Let that left leg become completely empty. Form a bird's beak. Now relax. Don't muscle through your snake creeps. Bring all the weight onto that left to come into your pheasant stance. Snake creeps. Let your body relax. Use that rotation, substantial and insubstantial. Holding that ball to the left, stepping out right. Fair lady works the shuttle. Fair lady works the shuttle. Pick the needle up from the sea bottom. Come up block. Fan through the back. Deflect. Intercept and punch. Pushing chi. Return the tiger to the mountain. And close. So it's an interesting way to practice, right? Just going back to the beginning and adding a little bit more, adding a little bit more. We could have done that even longer, stopping after snake creeps, going back to the beginning, stopping after pick the needle up from the sea bottom, going back to the beginning. It's a great way to practice being in the moment, because you're not having to think like, where am I, like you do with the inside out form, which is fun as well. But since you're following the pattern of the form, you can really focus on your awareness of your principles, of the intent of what you're doing, and try to unite that internal with the external. Remember, we talked about last week, upper and lower following one another, how it's a coordination of movement, and that actually helps you be healthier when you're coordinating your movements. That you avoid falls. Your body can be open and loose, allowing blood to flow, allowing energy to flow, allowing the oxygen to flow. This internal and external being united, really being in the moment as you practice your Tai Chi, your movement meditation, that as well is a benefit, a health benefit. Because, like I mentioned in my email, anytime that you can get that being in the moment, that meditative effect, your body is actually allowed to relax, allowed to get out of the sympathetic stress part of its world, allow it to get into the parasympathetic, which is healthy for your body. So as you're doing your Tai Chi and you're thinking about internal and external being united, thinking about being whole as a person, being a whole, healthy person, that's where we're going with internal and external being united.